From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, August 11th, 2016. Silver is trading at $20.14 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,346 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $598. AntiWarcom reports desperate to get the reports of U.S. soldiers abandoning military equipment to the Islamic State in Afghanistan out of the headlines. U.S. Commander General John Nicholson is now claiming that this was part of a massive joint effort with the Afghan military, and over the course of 2 weeks, they believe 300 the Islamic State fighters were slain. Details are scant, and Nicholson conceded it was difficult to get an exact count, but said he believed the offensive amounted to having killed some 25% of fighters for the Afghan affiliate of the Islamic State, terming it a severe setback for the nascent faction. At the same time, U.S. officials have claimed far more of the Islamic State fighters killed worldwide than they've ever admitted existed in the first place, and this is the second huge death toll reported in Afghanistan in the last 2 months, with the Afghan government claiming at one point before this new offensive that the Islamic State had been effectively wiped out. Still, the massive offensive would explain why the Islamic State was willing to make some local ceasefire deals with their Taliban counterparts around Nangarhar province, ending what had been some pretty severe fighting between the rival insurgencies as the U.S. and Afghan militaries dedicate more forces to the area. In 1999, Daryl W. Perry began a search for traditional values, which led him down a path to the ideas of liberty. He tells the story in A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty. Of the book, Dr. Brian Sovereign says, sometimes it's funny, and sometimes I think it's crazy, but it's always authentic. Find A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty by Daryl W. Perry on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, ask for A Rebel's Journey wherever books are sold, or visit arebelsjourney.com. UPI reports firefighters are nudging closer to full containment of a wildfire that has so far destroyed nearly 12 square miles of land south of Los Angeles, according to authorities on Wednesday. The so-called pilot fire has been burning in San Bernardino County since Sunday. After growing by thousands of acres at only 5% containment on Monday, fire officials said they began getting a better handle on the flames. Wednesday afternoon, the wildfire had destroyed almost 8,000 acres, according to authorities, and was nearly 65% contained. Officials said the greater containment figure is largely due to multiple containment lines firefighters have been putting into place over the last 3 days. U.S. Forest spokesman Bob Poole told the LA Times, until we actually are convinced that those lines have been tested and are going to hold, we're not going to include them in that total. Those lines that were built, now we're convinced that they're good, solid lines. Investigators are trying to determine the cause of the fire. No injuries or structural damage has so far been reported. The pilot fire is located about 75 miles northeast of Los Angeles. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the U.S. government will announce on Thursday that it will allow more research into cannabis, but rejected requests to loosen the classification of the substance as a dangerous drug with no medical use, according to sources with direct knowledge of the matter. The decision, to be announced by the Drug Enforcement Administration, is an answer to a 2011 petition filed by 2 former state governors who asked the federal agency to reclassify cannabis as a drug with accepted medical uses, according to 2 people who asked not to be identified because they were not authorized to publicly discuss the matter. The DEA declined comment, and the FDA did not immediately respond. But the DEA, in an email sent by its Public Affairs Division to stockholders on Wednesday, said the agency would be making important announcements regarding cannabis-related topics on Thursday. For decades, cannabis has been classified as a Schedule I drug with no currently accepted medical use and a high potential for abuse, on par with heroin. 25 states have sanctioned some form of cannabis use for medical purposes. 4 states, Alaska, Washington, Oregon, and Colorado, and the District of Columbia have gone even further, allowing its recreational use for adults. The expected changes would show that the Obama administration is open to expanding legitimate research into the effects of cannabis, even though the administration and Congress appear to be far from endorsing its broader use or legalization. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.